Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend the day with us. We got a lot going on today, don't we?
Yeah, boy, like always.
I'm gonna be busy in the kitchen, and Andy's got lots of other things to do.
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff to do today. So let's just see what gets done.
That's right. So y'all heard us talk about in a previous video how good our green peas have been doing this year. I've already canned a few pints of them, and I'm just so blown away because I've never had enough peas to put up. They're doing great. So I went out there, picked a few more, and got them all shelled. I ain't gonna bore you with shelling peas, but we're gonna can them. I was up in the air whether I was gonna can them or freeze them. Freezer space is precious here, y'all. So I decided to can them, and they actually turned out really pretty. And hope they turned out good. But so what we're gonna do, I've already got my jars cleaned and sanitized. Get us a little funnel here so I don't make too much of a mess. And we're gonna fill our jar up right up to the shoulder. So I was a little worried that they would maybe be like the cow peas and expand some during the canning process. But that wasn't the case. How much I filled them up actually pretty much stayed that way. So I had never, like I said, had never canned the peas before. So I'm going to do them up to about right there. So that's right at the shoulder of the jar. So don't know how many jars I'll get. Last time I just had 4 pints. I'm just canning them in pints because I don't see us eating a whole quart of peas at one time. So still making a mess. All right, looks like I'm gonna have just enough this time for like 3 pints. And when you're canning, what you need is plain salt. So you can buy like the canning salt, or you can just use plain salt. And I use the Redmond's Real Salt. We've been using that for several years now. Buy it in bulk, I just keep it in the little shaker. We're just gonna fill each one of those jars up till my peas are good and covered, and then a little bit. We're gonna get our lids and rings on. I use the 4 jars canning lids. Actually, guys, I reached out to them a year or so ago because I had tried out their jars. I had tried out their lids, and they really seemed made well. So they did give me a discount code, and so y'all check that out down in the description. And my pressure canner only it holds 9 pints. So as you see here, I only have 3 pints. What you can do if you need to fill up your extra space, if you keep your old lids and things like that, you can just fill up jars of water and put them in there to fill in your extra space. And now cold jars are going into cold water in a cold canner. I've not put any heat to this yet because we don't want any shock to those glass jars and possibly bust your jars. So now I'm going to cut my heat on, and all of it can warm up at the same time. We're going to pressure can these under 10 pounds of pressure for 40 minutes. This right here, y'all, is my go-to book. Now, I think they've changed the design now. I've had this book for years and years, but you can see it's very well used. But this right here is what I go to when I have questions or want to double check myself. It's got about everything in there, even how to freeze stuff, how to can stuff, different things like that. It's just a really good handy book to have if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff. But we're going to let the pressure build up, and I guess I'll see y'all in about 40 minutes.
So I'm going to be mowing some more hay today. And y'all asked for it, so I'm going to take you along on the next fields and stuff that I'm going to mow and kind of show you what I'm working with over there. Like I said before, the next field I'm mowing needs some work done to it, but at least I'll show you when we get over there what we got to work with. So here behind me is one of the new fields I'm gonna be cutting this year. Now, let me just say this to start with. This field has a lot to be desired here. This is by no means, in my opinion, what I would call good hay. However, it's not bad. There's a lot of this right here out here, Lespedeza, and Lespedeza makes really good hay in case you don't know. However, the grass that's out here is thin and it's done beyond its peak of being what you would call good hay. But that Lespedeza is the reason I'm gonna mow this for hay this year. This is a field that I've typically been bush hogging for the lady who owns it. And just because of, it actually looks a lot better than it's been looking. So we decided that this spring I would mow it for hay. And I may continue mowing it for hay because she has actually agreed that if I wanted to mow it for hay, that she would help me out on getting better stand of grass and everything out here. So, you know, kind of like a win-win situation. It improves the land for her, and it also makes it better for me as well. I have bush hogged it, so I halfway know what the lay of the land is out here. But, you know, I've never mowed it for hay before, so it's always just a little bit nerve-wracking because there could be a rock out there could be a hole, or anything like that when you're starting to do a field that you've never done. So I'll have to pay extra close attention while doing this field today. But anyways, I'm gonna get started with it because I've got one more to mow after this.
While the peas are going, I had a viewer a while back send me in a recipe for something called pool hall slaw, and I'm gonna try to make some. So I'm gonna come out here and get me some cabbage. I've got some beautiful cabbage out here, but the bugs have been pretty bad on it here lately. That looks like a good one. Let's get that one. Well, besides all the bug holes, that looks pretty good.
Uh-oh.
He'll eat it.
Stop, don't put on one over there.
Oh, you want me to leave them here for you?
Yeah. Oh, I bet he likes the big ones. They're dark.
Is that what it is? Full of bugs, too.
Give the ones that have bugs to their chickens. Okay?
Look, right there's what's eating our cabbage.
Slugs.
Slugs. It's full of slugs. That other one I got the other day was too.
Look, she's eating it.
Slugs. Well, that ain't too bad of a looking cabbage head there. I got all the outer leaves off. I need to wash it. It had some slugs in it, and you'll find that, you know, if you ain't never grown cabbage before, don't be surprised when you pull back the outer leaves and there's a few little bugs hiding in there. But the rest of this is pretty tight, so I don't think they've got even farther down in there. There's no holes in it. I got to the point there was no holes, and it's wrapped really tight. So get this in the house and get it chopped up.
So I want to talk real quick about this field. The more I get into it, the more I'm learning about it. And I will have to say that if it wasn't for this Lespedeza out here in this field, I probably would just go ahead and bush hog it again, because it's really not that great of grass to be cutting for hay. But this Lespedeza, I mean, this is like a pretty crop of Lespedeza right here. However, the whole field ain't like that. So, you know, I've got pieces of the field like back here behind me and up at the very top of the knoll where it's just old dead grass that's done beyond its peak. And I will say, this Lespedeza does not cut good at all. I'm leaving sprigs and stuff out in there, but that's just the nature of stemmy type hay. But I want to show you an up close of the Lespedeza. This is at its prime right now. Like, this is when you want to mow it for hay, and that's the reason I'm doing it, because this is tender still. It's not got that stemmy yet, and so that should actually make some pretty decent hay. I will not be running a tedder over this hay field right here, because I don't want to beat the leaf off of this Lespedeza, so I want to work it as little as possible. But I'll probably just let it lay for a couple days and let it naturally dry without scattering it out. Then I'll come back and rake it. And when I rake it up in a windrow, I'll probably make thin windrows if it ain't dry, just so the air can get all the way through and it'll be drying. But yeah, I still got quite a bit over here to mow, but I'm gonna get back at it now. I just wanted to mention that about this field. Like, it's gonna take a lot of work to get this to a really good hay field, but we'll see what we can do with it.
Well, guys, I just made all of this and it hit the record button. It happens sometimes, but I've got my cabbage chopped up here, and it also calls for some carrots and 1 whole green bell pepper. So I've got all that chopped up, and I've got to go grab an onion. I'm gonna throw a medium onion in the food processor. Get all that mixed up. Now you're gonna need a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, mustard, so we're gonna get all that mixed together. We're gonna do a little bit of pepper flakes. It calls for red pepper. I don't have red pepper, but this is some peppers I dehydrated last year. Put that in there. And we're gonna put that in a pot and let that boil for about 20 minutes.
Well, this didn't exactly turn out the way I was expecting. You can see how I've got some mist stuff out there. I got in a rock pile right out here, and I broke a couple blades on my disc mower, and now I'm gonna have to do something about it. You can see how I beat that one right there up. That one still looks okay. But on this end one here, supposed to be a blade sticking out right there, and it's broke off. But Same on the other side, it's broke off. And guess what? Luck would have it, I'm pretty sure I do not have any spare blades for this thing, which I should, but I don't. So I guess I've got to take a trip to the New Holland place and get parts for this thing. I wasn't expecting to do that today, but that's the way it is. Sometimes you have to do things you ain't expecting to do. You can see, you know, now all this is sticking up out here is just the nature of this Lespedeza. When it's thin and thin spots, like it just lays it over and it won't mow it. Like that right there. But boy, I'm gonna tell you, right across this bottom side right here, and the part that I hadn't mowed yet, it's not bad looking. It really ain't. But right here's what I've run into. See how I pulled that rock up out of the ground? So at one time, this was like a plowed field, and they went back over it and smoothed it up. And I believe they may have thrown some grass seed or something on it. I'm not sure. But they just got everything smoothed up, so there is still rocks in this field. Thing is, when you're bush hogging this field, you don't see those rocks because that bush hog's cutting higher. So I'm hitting stuff that I didn't know was out here, and I was kind of scared that's what I was going to run into. But you live and you learn. So I've got back home here, and I've got two of the old blades taken off. I'm gonna take them with me, and I'm fixing to make a run to the New Holland place.
What happened?
I broke down.
Oh, what did you do?
I was just saying, that's what you have to do on a new field. You got to really pay attention to what you're cutting. And so when I'm bush hogging it, I didn't know the rocks were there because the rocks are down lower. With the bush hog, I'm cutting up higher. With this, I'm mowing lower. So I've hit a ton of rocks in this field, and I broke blades.
Oh, how many did you break?
2.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 2 blades, and then I've like tore several of them up. Actually, I hit one good rock pile that I did know was there, but I kind of forgot was there when from bush hogging. But there's several other little rocks in the field that I've hit too.
One guarantee about hay season is
you're gonna break.
Yeah. I never fail.
Well, you know, one thing that I've learned here is I actually do have some new blades laying around here somewhere, but gosh, y'all, it's been so long since I needed new blades. I'm not even gonna waste my time looking for them because I don't even know where to begin to look for them things. I'm just gonna run to the New Holland place.
Yeah, because you've had this thing, what, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, and that's when I bought the new blades. I bought spares to have. I actually put new blades on it when I bought it, and then I bought spares. And got, like I said, I have no idea where they are. I'm not gonna waste my time looking for them. That's just the way it is sometimes. I'm gonna run out there and get me a box of left-handed blades and a box of right-handed blades, and get back to work. Yeah, I just called out there and they have some. So I'm gonna run out there and get them, and maybe this evening later I can
finish.
How
close are you to being finished?
I probably got 30 minutes in that field, and then I ain't even started on the other field over there yet. So I still got a bit to go. It looks like this is probably, unless I don't get it fixed, it looks like this is probably all I'm getting done today. I thought maybe earlier when we started this video, I thought we might actually get some other stuff done today, or I might get some other stuff done today, but today is looking like it's going to be dedicated to mowing hay and fixing junk.
Just how it goes sometimes, I guess.
That's right. But I'm going to run out there, and I'll probably grab me a bite to eat while I'm on my way too, just to make it quick so I can get back at it.
Okay.
All right.
So right on time, our peas are done, so let's get our heat cut off and let our canner cool down. All right, my peas are done, and this thing's got good and cooled off. Let's get the lid off of it. All right, they look great. See there? Get those out so they can sit over here and cool. So exciting. All right, the next step, we got to get our pool hall slaw in the jars. So I've let this boil for about 20 minutes. So now we're going to ladle it into pint jars. And I've already done a little taste test, y'all, and this stuff is delicious. It is absolutely, oh my gosh, it's very good. I've never tasted anything like it, honestly, but it is very good. So now I'm gonna stick these in the water bath canner for 10 minutes.
Got 'em, ain't there? There's a pile of tractors out here.
Yeah.
So y'all know while we out here, Jacob, he's got to look around at all the tractors. He won't let me leave without letting him look. What do you think about that right there beside you? That's a big one.
This one?
Yeah. That's a whole lot bigger than anything we'd ever need, that's for sure.
I know it's over 75 horsepower, but look what it got.
Yeah, it's got a def tank on it, don't it? Look at that, 5711.
I need this to be the same.
There, that's more your speed right there, ain't it?
That's the mama and this is the baby.
This is the baby. All right, son, we gotta go. We gotta get that thing put back together. We'll make a quick trip over there, then we gotta go.
Oh, the water goes down anyway.
I tell you what, they got a lot more tractors out here than they had the last time we was here. I wouldn't mind having one about like that right there. 50 horsepower. That's a pretty good looking tractor there. Why don't you buy us one of these, Jacob?
No.
Huh?
No.
Maybe one day we can have a brand new one.
Maybe.
That's also a good looking tractor.
I believe this one got 60. It says 2660.
Yeah,
What? No, that's 60 back.
I don't know how their numbers work on these Massey Fergusons. All right, we're heading back home. But I want to show you before we hit the road here. There's my new blades. I got 6 of one way and 8 of the other. And so, if you don't know, on a disc mower, one rotates one way and one rotates the other way. It takes 4 of one and 6 of the other blade. So I got 2 extra of each. But in that box right there is $134 worth of parts. That is ridiculous. That is flat ridiculous. But, I mean, you gotta have it, so what are you supposed to do? It ain't like I could look at him and say, well, I'm not paying that much for them and go somewhere else because there ain't nowhere else to go. But that is flat out ridiculous. I think that's probably the reason I don't have, I probably got an extra spare blade laying around the house somewhere or another, but I think now I'm gonna make sure I keep up with these and know where I put the spares because that is just flat out ridiculous. That's just part of it, I guess.
So last but not least for today, anyway, with my cabbage, I'm gonna make a little bit of kraut. So I'm just gonna forewarn y'all, I am no expert at making kraut. I make it about every year. Some years it's great, it turns out great, it's got a good flavor. Some years not so much, and I make it about the same way every year. So don't take this as a how to make kraut because it's no telling what the results will be. But the way I look at it, I'll keep trying, keep figuring it out, and hopefully eventually I'll get kind of good at it. We'll see. So I'm going to use my food processor to chop it up. I mean, I hate for this stuff to go to waste, so at least attempting to make kraut, even if it doesn't make good kraut, at least the cabbage did me some good in teaching me instead of it just sitting out there going to waste. So and I use this old pickle jar that I found. It works good because it's It's bigger than a half a gallon. It's not quite a gallon. And this is what I usually make my kraut in. I make such a mess, y'all. And any of the rest of y'all messy cooks, because I am. And I don't know how not to be. And I'm going to have to go out there and get me, I'll go out there and get me probably a couple more cabbage heads, but we'll get this one chopped up for now. My pool hall slaw is done. Just let them sit here and cool. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, so that was one medium-ish size cabbage head, maybe a little small side. We're gonna do about 1/8 of a cup of sugar, salt in there. We'll kind of just mix that in. Then we're going to take our little masher tool. These things, I don't know what the technical name for them is. Maybe a mallet. I don't really know. But you can find these actually at Hoss Tools' website. I got the fermentation kit while we were down there visiting. So we're going to take this. You just mash that down in there. And we'll mash it more once we get more cabbage in there. So let me grab me another cabbage head.
Well, I made it back, finally. Y'all know how it is when you're in a hurry. I'm pretty sure you get behind every slow car there is on the road. But I guess it ain't no use in being in no hurry, but sometimes you just naturally get in a hurry. But anyways, what I've decided I'm going to do here, since these blades were so expensive and there is rocks in that field over there, I'm not going to put all the new blades on it just yet. I'm going to replace the broke ones, and then I'm going to just roll with the old ones and probably hit them just a little bit, sharpen them up some. And I won't put my new blades on until I'm done mowing hay this season. I'll just keep rolling with these old ones here. there's the new blades. And there's the old wore out blades. I sharpened them up. These on this one here are bent just a little bit, slightly upwards. So I will be replacing those soon. But I think the rest of these are going to be okay. They're sharpened. They'll mow grass anyways. So I guess I'm ready to go back to the field. I'll see y'all there. So I've made a few rounds here around the field and everything seems to be working right. I've got into some really thick, nice Lespedeza right here. So this part right here is actually gonna make some really nice hay. I'm thinking that from the top of this knoll back that way though, when it comes time to, when I come back over here to rake it, I don't even think I'm gonna get this up. I believe I'm just gonna leave it laying, sort of let it help build the land up, because it's really not much to it. You can see how thin it is out there. It didn't mow good at all out there. But if nothing else, you got a really pretty view from up here while I'm working. You look way out on the distance out yonder, you can see the Blue Ridge Mountains. But anyways, it's all gonna be all right. You know, sometimes things go good, sometimes they don't go good, and sometimes we just make the best of what we got. But all of this front side of this field right here has got some extremely nice Lespedeza in it. I know I've said that several times in this video, but it really is, and I'm tickled that it's still in its tender stage. So it's like perfect time to be mowing it.
Alright, so we're gonna set the weights down on that. We'll see if I can hold 2 in here, since this is kind of an odd shaped jar. And I'll just keep an eye on that every day and let it set out for about 10 days or so. I'll just lay the lid on top. I won't screw it down or anything so the gas can escape, but nothing can get in. And we're just going to set it to the side and forget about it. Like I said, just remember, this is not how-to. This is just my way of making it. Sometimes turned out good, sometimes not so much. So. Well, that's it for this field. Now I'm going to head on to the next field, and I'll show you that when we get there. And for any of y'all wondering, what my plan is for this field is I'll probably bush hog it this fall, and then I'm going to go back with a sod drill and maybe drill some grass seed in it, and probably get a lime truck over here and lime it all, and just kind of see where that gets us with it. And that should at least help the quality of what we've got here. And then next spring we'll probably fertilize it and you know, see what we got to work with after that. But I definitely think we got some potential here, but we're gonna have to get over here and pick up some rocks, that's for sure. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna head on to the next field and we'll see y'all there.
So guys, here behind me is the second hay field, and then there's another half on this side of the driveway. But I want y'all to look at this. Is that not the most beautiful view you've ever seen? Y'all, I gotta tell you, that is one thing I love about where we live. Around every turn, there's a beautiful view somewhere or another. I mean, it's just, we're fortunate enough to live in a really beautiful place, that's for sure. But as far as the hay goes, the hay here is not the best quality either. It's got, which it does have a lot of the Lespedis in it as well. See it down there, but this is a lot shorter. However, the grass, you can see the brown tops in it. It's done got too old, but you know, it's just the best we can make out of it. The weather hadn't let us cut everything when it needed to be cut this year. So we're just gonna make the best of it and see how this turns out. I'm probably not gonna film a bunch of mowing over here because I imagine y'all probably seen enough hay mowing already. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of just ready to get on and get it done. So I'll probably show you the finished product when I get done with it. Well, y'all, the hay is on. That's every bit of the hay that me and Megan have that we take care of is now done and on the ground. So I'm hoping I don't have to tedder this over here either. It's thick in places, so I'm gonna have to come and check it probably tomorrow morning and see what it looks like. I may have to scatter it out with a tedder, but I'm hoping I can save that step this time and not have to ride over the field and just go and rake it and be done with it. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get back to the house and fix me something to drink and check in with Megan, see what's going on there. I think that's probably going to be about it for this video.
We hope you learned a little something. Hope you enjoyed today's video. And anyways, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.